Ooh, alright, recording. Can you tell it's a new camera? Like, oh, yeah, you can tell it's a new camera because it's like focused on my face and it's the background's all kind of blurry and shit. Awesome. Where? Oh, wow, this camera also has a wider angle so you can tell I'm not wearing a bra. Alright, hey, what's up? These are my boobs. I'm just gonna shrink down to here. Anyway, so I ran away to London for a week. I say it as if like I literally was just like, I need to get out of here, and I just like bought a ticket and left. No, this, as everything I do, it's planned ahead because I'm spontaneous, but also within like a 6 month period, like, oh, you know what you do? 6 months from now, this. It's gonna be like a series of videos talking about my lovely trip and everything. It was tons of fun. I went to a shit ton of museums. I think I pretty much did like everything I had planned, and then there was other stuff that was like spur of the moment I didn't get to do, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Like one day I was, when we were on like the tube, the subway, and I was like, oh man, I should totally go to like Canary Wharf, like that stop, and like take pictures because that's where they film like Rogue One and all that shit. Just because I always have like my at bag and all that stuff. So like fun shit like that. Like some pictures. This one I'm just gonna show like my first day there and then like my last day there. It's I'm still not fully alive. Their subway system is so clean. It's New York. Like our subway system is very fuck off old. So things are gonna be like they're not gonna run as smooth. Like their trains were just like, oh, okay. Like I barely had to like hold on. Like, you don't hold on in New York, like you go flying kind of shit. Like theirs I was just like, oh, I'm just standing there. Oh, it's like, okay, cool. That kind of stuff. And there's no like like kind of shit happening. You're just like, oh, okay. It's not even like that. You're just like, oh, it's like smooth, It's like, oh, it's like a nice even track, Like this shit in New York, you're just like, and you hear that when they hit like the turns, and like the voice is like, boom boom. What? Obviously, still can't ever really get used to things, driving on the other side of the road, and when I cross the street I have to just be like, wait, which side do I look again? I always look both ways, even if it's like a one-way street, but but I was like, wait, I usually look, I usually look left before I do right, but I have to like do the other way, and like most things in New York are a fucking grid system, so if you look, you're like, okay, cool, like the car or whatever is like a block away, I can cross. Here it's like, I don't know if there's a car, Jesus, because like a lot of the roads are like curved and stuff, so you look and there's no car, and you look again, it's like, and you're like, fuck. Like, people need to just learn, like, I know I'm weird looking and I look like this and sound like this and all that stuff, but just like, you stare long enough, like, I'm gonna fucking, like, one, either take your picture, or two, say something to you, or both, It's like, what you want? What do you, you find yourself just being like, what are you looking at? Huh? The fuck you looking at? And then, like, people are just like, oh my god, that's my pearl. Like, they're just like, oh my god, like, freaking out. It's like, bitch, stop looking at me. Like, I know I'm gonna get some stares because I'm weird looking and all that stuff, and, usually I'll have, like, several colors on my face and, blah, 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 green hair, like, is that a boy or girl? I don't know what that is. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, alright, after a while, you're like, alright, I get it. Tons of fun. Tons of fun there. Like I said, there will be more stuff for me to blab on about, all the pretty things, loud noises. Most of the time I'm talking to my mom, so it's in Chinese, and then, like, there are times where, like, oh, I'll, like, order something to eat, or I'll, say something, and people would be like, oh, obvious American. And they're like, oh, enjoying your time in London? I was like, yeah, it's cool. And they're like, oh, where are you guys from? And I'm like, oh, New York. And they're like, why'd you come here? They're like, and you came here? And I was like, yeah. They're like, yeah, but New York's such a great place. I'm like, I know, but, sometimes you want to get out of that, even though it's crazy to you, but it's like a comfort zone for me, and then you come to some place you don't know, and then things don't make sense, and then, like, the roads are all kind of weird, and I just like my grid system so much. But anyway, on to pictures. Be like that person who was like, oh, I sure you guys all my pictures, please comment on everything. So this is a little cafe spot called was it Wags and Tails. It's very family friendly. They've got like lots of like vegetarian options and all that stuff, which is good. Um, it's also like they allow dogs there. So yeah, this was the weekend brunch. This was, I think, the first day like we landed. I'm like super jet lagged. It's like 9, 10 a.m. there, but it's like, was it like 4, 5 a.m. New York time. So I was just like, okay, there's sun out. I haven't slept in like, 12 hours kind of shit. So we're like, we're gonna go eat. Okay, So this was their menu. Yeah, there's my line. But yeah, that's what the place looks like. It's packed. There's like people, all about. It's very family friendly because people with like kids and shit too. Um, that's a stroller. That's like the other side. There's like books and people can like read it. It's a coffee shop kind of thing. Yeah, that was like the sign behind me. Come on, click. That's a dog. It's a pug, and it's all pug-like. Yeah, and some like obviously everyone has their dog on leash, and like one person, if I get to that dog, it was on a leash, but they would kind of like, because it's a big dog and it knows what to do, so it kind of like let it kind of walk around. It would walk to me, and it's like, I'm a dog, you want to pet me? And I was like, of course I want to pet you. Oh my god, I'm having a sandwich, and there's a cute dog that wants me to pet it. Oh my god, all that's left is like if Chris Evans shows up and wants to feed me mashed potatoes or something, like, oh my god, my life would be complete. Plus, also if my skin would clear up and then I'd be debt free. But small victories. Oh, that was my latte I had. I had a latte. It's funny, like, being in New York, I'm usually just drinking like Starbucks or something. So like to actually go and people making you fancy drinks with like little, like latte art shit. I'm just like, oh, look how pretty it is. Of course, I have to take a picture, and my sister gives me shit. Aw, yeah, and then it, like I said, new camera, and I was like, wow, like it does take really good food pictures. That's not why I bought this camera. It's because the other one. It's because my other camera I lost at Comic-Con. I needed another like handheld that I could just take pictures. And then of course I was taking pictures of food because we were doing lots of eating. So that's my, like eggs Florentine with like a bit of avocado. It was really good though. I think that was my mom's because she wanted like stuff. Oh yeah, that was. Oh my god, so weird to say that's my brother-in-law. So weird to say that. That was his plate of bread and egg, and then my sister had like a hole with the thing and the stuff and the food to go visit, to see the baby. So we can do family stuff. Like, ugh, Anyway, so then at night, after my mom and I checked into our hotel and all that shit, which was cool. Like, it would have been cool to obviously like stay at my sister's place. But it was also cool that we stayed at, like, a hotel because, one, she has a kid, like, the kid gets all kid-like, and two, just so my mom and I could, like, have time to, like, decompress, because, like, they both have to work and all that stuff, so we have, like, our own thing. But yeah, so we went to this really cool, like, Lebanese spot, and that shit's good. Oh, I was just testing out the camera here. Ooh, zoom, soft focus. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, Instagram. Anyway, so the place is pretty cool. Like, it's sensory overload. So, like, yeah, it's like, look at all the stuff. Like, you can buy all that. You can buy the bags, you can buy the buckets, you can buy anything. It's awesome. That's, like, one of the light fixtures. You're just like, sure, there's, like, a cherub above my head. That's, like, their food stuff. It's, like, so much color. It's pretty fucking awesome. Oh, that was my drink. I was like, ooh, look at the little separation of church and state happening. Oh yeah, we had like this hummus dip platter stuff, and I was just, again, this camera is new, and I probably got the camera about like 2 days or something prior to going on this trip, so I'm still trying to figure things out with this camera. It's awesome. Yeah, so I was just like trying to figure out the focus, taking this picture a little close up more, try to again figure out the focus. The focus is the olive, Yeah, and then I inadvertently ordered a pizza because I read on there, they're like, oh, it's our bestseller, our best thing, people love it, and it's like, oh, bread with cheese, and blah blah blah, and I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I thought it would be like something else, and then like it comes, and I was like, did I seriously order like a fucking Lebanese pizza? I love pizza. But did I really just order motherfucking pizza? I was a little upset at myself because I was like, oh, I'm gonna try Lebanese food, and I order a pizza. Alright, you know. Oops, yeah. So that's like the little salad that comes with my pizza, because, you know, when you have pizza, you're going, I'm just kind of a salad. Again, still trying to figure out the focus here, and the focus is on the goddamn onion in the back here. Trying to focus on the tomato. Again, still trying to work on the focus. Anyway, so this is actually the last day when I met up with my sister for breakfast. Her, her boyfriend was at work, so had to say goodbye to him the night before. So this was my other latte I had, in a different fancy cup. They always like to draw hearts. It's like, oh, I love you. So anyway, still trying to figure out the goddamn focus on the camera. It's trying to get like the fucking sugar cubes in the jar, and it was like, I don't know what you want. And it was focusing on the fucking hinge here. I was like, anyway, my food. Decided to have a little avocado on toast with like some eggs, some poached eggs. That was fucking good because it got that like red pepper flakes and shit going on there. A little smoked salmon with a lime, just a little drizzle of lime. Yeah. Just trying to focus on the eggs, but it was like, well, just focus on the bread and all that stuff. Again, still figure out this camera next. Swans. Yeah, these swans are huge. Like the ones I see in Central Park are like, they're like this, but these are like that. It's a big fucking swan. Yeah. So this is at the Thames. I'm Tam, but this is the Thames River. And there's a shit ton of swans, and they're fucking huge. And oh yeah, this was one of the mornings. And I was just like, oh my god, the sun's coming out. Because I looked and it was going to be like, oh yeah, most of the time, because it's London. It's like all rainy, drizzly, overcast. And I was like, oh, actually, there might be a couple days where it's going to be, the sun's going to show up. So I woke up and saw that. And I was like, I'm going to take this picture. And it's like on my Instagram. And it's like light, shadow, dark, art. I went to art school for a reason. For that. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all the pictures for, day one and day, last day. Anyway, yeah, so, again, I'm gonna go on about more shit. Yeah, so, I think the next thing I'm gonna talk about, the next video, the next vlog, would be about, going to the British Museum. Just because, fuck it, it's the British Museum, there's lots of shit there, and all the fun times I had. Anyway, but yeah, so this is why I was gone, if you give a fuck. Why I haven't put up videos in a while. So, yeah, so it'd be tons of, vlogs about my trip to London, plus, 50 Shades Darker is out, so that, you're gonna see that review. Anyway, so, yeah. But yeah, just follow me on social media, Instagram, Spaz Out Loud, Tumblr, Spaz Out Loud, my website, spazouloud.com. All that fun stuff. You know what to do. Anyway, bye. I still don't know how this camera works.